6:30. Let me know if you're ready to start. Good evening and welcome to the City of Riviera Beach Planning and Zoning Board meeting. It is 6:30 p.m. on June 26, 2025. Please make sure all your electronic devices are on silent. If anyone wants to speak on an agenda item, please complete a public comment card and give it to the planning and zoning staff prior to the board's discussion and before the public comment section is announced. In no event will anyone be allowed to submit a comment card to speak on an agenda item after the title of the item is read or considered. Total time allotted for each member of the public to comment on each item is 3 minutes. Have a moment of silence. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Ms. Weathers.
Board Member Lucy Joseph. Present. Board Member Anthony Brown.
Present.
Vice Chair Frank Fernandez.
Present.
And Mr. Chair, if Mr. Brown can have permission to vote tonight?
Yes, you'll
Is
have
that your
permission as a voting member, and for the record, we do have a quorum with 3 out of the
That's
5.
correct.
Thank you, ma'am.
We're ready to start.
Do we have an acknowledgement of board member absence notification?
Yes, Chair, we do. We have Chairperson William Wiley did send respondents. Ms. Board Member Renee Burgess, Board Member Margaret Shepherd did make us aware, and Board Member Gallen of their absence tonight.
Thank you, ma'am. Acknowledgement of board member vacant positions.
Chair, we have vacant District 5. We have alternate member vacant position District 2, alternate vacant member District 4.
Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda for tonight?
No, sir.
Any disclosure by board members?
No, sir.
Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
It has been properly motioned and second. Chair, are we ready for the vote?
Yes, ma'am.
Board Member Brown,
Yes.
Board Member Joseph,
Yes.
Vice Chair Fernandez.
Yes.
Unanimous vote, sir.
Ms. Brothers, there are no minutes to approve tonight, so we're going to pass on that, correct?
That is correct.
We have any unfinished business?
No, sir, Chair.
Okay, let's move on to new business. 7A, Arts in Public Places, Master Plan Presentation.
The presenter tonight will be, sir, Principal Planner Sunit Simon.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, Board. Good evening, other boards and members of the audience and the community. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for having us tonight, as tonight we'll be presenting where we are in Arts in Public Place and the master plan, the draft of the master plan. I am Sunit Simon, Principal Planner here at Long Range Planning and Development Services. And next to me, we have our chair for the Arts and Public Places Board. And so she's going to give a little bit of background. But before she does, I just kind of wanted to give a quick update of where we are. The last time we were here, we were trying to create this board and we were trying to move forward with Arts and Public Place program. You all did an amazing job of helping us get that step where we're able to have this passed before council, and now we have a board, and now we have a plan coming together. So we created our advisory board, so thank you for that. I want to tell everyone that we meet every third Tuesday of each month. Our next one is July 15th. And then right now we're working on developing policy as well as our master plan. I wanted to tell you a little bit about just a slight thing, and I'm sorry. I have random photos from random things, but our board works in the community within their own capacities. Like you'll see the corner picture is of our chair, and this is in her as she works in within her neighborhood. So I randomly snip pictures of her and on the bottom is our vice chair, and he's a teacher here in the community. But the work that they do, we put it into the work that we do. Instilling art within our community, or just working to find ways of how are we going to make this plan reflect our community. You'll also see other photos of work that our board members have done to help us get to the point of where we are today, where they helped us with surveying our community, meeting with our community. I don't have a picture of Jo, and she's the one that kind of kicked off surveying our community for us. But our board has been really active in getting us to this point. And I want to pass on Ms. Torella Goldwire.
Good evening to the Planning and Zoning Board and all others in attendance today. My name is Terrell Goldwire, the Chair of the Art and Public Places Board. I would like to take the time to introduce our board members: Manley Jerome, Vice Chair; Tirza Gabriel, our Secretary; and our other board members, Ms. Gloria Harris, Ms. Breon Moses, Ms. Josephine Posty, and Mr. Joseph Giamo. We have all been able to come together in a collaborative and creative space to voice change needed socially, economically, mentally, and culturally by one simple focus: to have in the city of Revere Beach, and that is art. Art has a way of speaking to each of us with no words, but can connect us through time, inspiration, and emotion. We as a board agree with the initiatives set out in the Art and Public Places Master Plan for Revere Beach. You all will see in this plan, we want art in the city to activate the minds of the youth and create spaces for people in our community to connect and thrive. Please note the emphasis we have on art in this city is to be thought-provoking, innovative, cultural, affluent, new, bold, and different. We do not want to be put in a box where the focus is only on sculptures and murals on walls or in front of buildings. We want to enhance the city through painting streets with a message, having temporary interactive art installations, beautify the landscape, include art at bus stops and forgotten places, and incorporate annual festivals and beach exhibits. We want to strategically implement permanent site markers that represent our history of change makers, unsung heroes, and the city's Bahamian beginnings. Our first call to action and focus: we want to define our entryways in and out of the city on all sides, making a bold statement to everyone who enters that they are stepping into a city of resilience, pride, culture, legacy, and greatness. We thank you all for having us today and allowing us to be influential to positive change in the city we all love and believe in, which is Revere Beach. I will now turn it over to our consultants that will provide a more in-depth details.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me okay? Can you guys hear me at all?
We hear you. We can't see you yet. Then we're going to wait for Walter, if you could please help us with that part. Excellent. So right now I'm going to introduce to you Gabrielle, who has been working with Design Local. Gabrielle Smith is our consultant that has been the lead to help us with this master plan that we are presenting to you tonight. Tonight we're presenting the draft, but before Gabrielle speaks, I just wanted to do a quick thank you to those that are in the audience. We have representatives from our Recreation Board. We also have staff that has got us really far into this process to be where we are. We also have parents that have helped us to get to what we're doing. So I did want to say thank you to that. But now I pass on Gabrielle Smith, who will describe what we've been doing, how we've been doing it, and where we're going after this. Gabrielle?
think I just sent a request to share my screen here. Okay. So as she mentioned, my name's Gabrielle. I have been one of the consultants on this team. We've had a wonderful time working in Riviera Beach and are very excited to share with you all everything that we have been working on. So let's see here. Quick overview of Designing Local. We are a roughly 15 employee arts and culture planning firm based in Columbus, Ohio. We've been doing this for a little over 10 years now, and we've done 50 plus public arts in over 20 states around the country, frequently in Florida. We have done a lot of public art plans in Florida, and we're excited to keep doing so. We also do historic preservation, landscape architecture, and everything we do has a big focus in community engagement. So this process really kicked off in July of last year, and we started with our mobilization phase, which was really about developing our website and starting to put all of the branding together for this and initiating that research phase to make sure that we understood as well as we could the community that we were coming into for phase 2, which was all about community dialogue and engagement. And during this, we had our visit to the community where we were able to tour through the facilities that you guys have some conversations with folks, and really start getting at that survey that Sunid was talking about earlier. Then we moved into phase 3, which was looking to synthesize our ideas and really define that strategy, pulling in all of the data that we have gotten from all of the engagement that we did to put together the initial recommendations for phase 4, which have been vetted and spoken about with all kinds of folks before putting the whole plan together here in the last couple of months. So that's what we're really here to talk about today. So looking at public art, you guys do have a lot of bright and colorful examples already. As we have mentioned a little bit, there are a lot of mural opportunities that exist at the moment. And a lot of it was really inspiring for us to see this is the vibe that they are going with at the moment. How do we build upon that and really enrich it in their community? So we've spoken a lot about public engagement. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into some of the things that we did. One of the first events that we did was a tabling at the trunk or treat event at the marina. We really got to engage with the community to figure out different types of art that people liked, but really it was to tell people about the process, get folks excited and thinking about art, to meet them where they are. The other events under the events on this list were all opportunities for engaging with folks in a similar way, pushing them towards the survey, and really telling people about what public art is. Community conversations. We had several stakeholder and focus group conversations that were one-on-one or small groups where we asked folks about what kind of art they want to see, where, and what it should do. So people mentioned sculptures as being bright and exciting, but also being the most common thing in the community and wanting to branch out from that. Sculptures were brought up as something impactful and durable, while kinetic installations were seen as something more interactive and dynamic that people were really looking for. Similarly, functional art like benches or gateways or creative wayfinding provide really unique opportunities that imbue art in everyday life, and again, something interactive, different, and really create a specific place. No matter what goes out there, we heard that it should be accessible and engaging, especially for families. Some of the locations that were brought up were new city buildings, the marina, municipal beach access, downtown, parks, recreation centers, pedestrian areas. All of these are areas where people currently meet with one another and are like parts of the city in different ways. So we're really looking to invest in the assets that we already have. Lastly, purpose and impact. People want public art to be a vibrant storyteller, a community builder, something that celebrates the community's diversity and beautifies public spaces, as well as economically boosting local businesses and improving safety, but ultimately creating that sense of place. We had a community survey that got a little over 200 responses. We asked folks kind of what is a word that describes Riviera, and people were saying it's a diverse and beautiful beach community, but something that has a lot of potential and needs some investment to get to where it really has to be. Sculptures and murals were the #1 survey response, as they usually are, because that's what people are familiar with, but functional art was also extremely highly rated, as was temporary and interactive installations. People mentioned, as I said, downtown parks, municipal beach gateways, and really looking for something that beautifies the landscape and enhances the surroundings while building pride in the community. So all of this kind of came together to the framework of how we wanted this plan to go and the directions that we wanted public art to be pushed in. So our vision for public art was that public art in Riviera Beach will be a source of positive and enriching connection across cultures, neighborhoods, and beyond. So we're really looking at public art to emphasize connecting people to local cultures, connecting people with mental, physical, and creative wellness, connecting neighbors, connecting through kinship, and connecting with natural treasures. So we don't want public art to be the thing that people are going to. We want public art to be enhancing the things that already are making Riviera Beach special. So digging into these recommendations a little bit, this is our map of priority public art locations. So this is not a end all be all art is going to be here. This is what we identified through conversations as places people are interested in. So I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into each of these connectors, but I wanted you to see kind of overall where everything is. We tried really hard to spread it out throughout the community as much as we could, not just center it on waterfronts or in parks, but get it to where as many people will be able to experience it as possible. So the first one is connecting people to local cultures. This connector is really about building communities and meeting people where they are through access to public art and creating these spaces that people want to be in through this access. So the first suggestion, the first recommendation within this connection is murals, but also not looking at typical facade murals as much as we can. Things like crosswalk murals or basketball murals at parks are things that bring art in unexpected ways, but also in examples like crosswalk murals also provide some of that pedestrian safety and placemaking in some of those instances that people might not expect. The other thing we were looking at is some sculpture opportunities within local parks. These could be sculpture trails or just lone sculptures. Again, something durable, possibly kinetic and interactive, that mark locations as places people want to be. Connecting with mental, physical, and creative wellness is really looking at how do we get people outside in their communities, walking around and experiencing what Riviera Beach has. So the first thing is looking at the municipal beach access. So this is a really wonderful asset that you guys have. And we had a few ideas of how we could work to enhance that, whether it's through functional Art such as some artist designed benches, a iconic feature or sculpture that would be at the start of it, or even thinking about some arts related programming such as a sand sculpture festival or something of that nature to really activate the space and make it a somewhere that not only visitors want to be at, but the community really flocks to. Similarly, there is some green space between 29th and 30th that would be a really interesting opportunity for a linear park, something with stamped paths that is a walking path, a pedestrian area that gets people outside and engaged. Connecting neighbors is about not only connecting your neighbors in Riviera Beach, but also the neighbors surrounding Riviera Beach. So this is where we start to look at things like gateways and port access and really identifying Riviera Beach to people outside of it. So the first of those is looking at the marina. We had a few different things that we were thinking about there. Kinetic sculptures, kind of expanding the chain link fence artwork, something suspended at the front to really enliven the front of the or the entrance to the marina, as well as looking at programming like a plein air painting day and brightening up the waterfront access with some staircase and ramp murals down at the bottom. So these are some examples of what some of those things could look like. Ideally, all very bright and enticing. These two are some of the suspended art examples. This would be the kinetic sculptures that move in the wind, and again, really activating those space with arts-focused programming and festivals. The other thing was gateways. We identified a few major roads that would be ideal for gateways. Again, we want people to know that they're in Riviera Beach and to be excited to be in Riviera Beach. So we have a few examples of what that can look like and how to bring that about. The other thing was looking at President Barack Obama Highway and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The intersection there has an opportunity for a bit more park space, something identifiable, and really commemorating that intersection and looking to make that more of a community space as well. Another thing within this was looking at bus stop enhancements. So you guys have a lot of bus stops to work with, and working with your transit service, there are a lot of examples of even bus stops enhancements within Florida and in communities very close to you. So this is something very exciting and doable to enliven your streetscapes a little bit. The other thing is looking at utility pole artwork. This is a really small footprint, high impact program that brings art and color into streetscapes without taking up pedestrian spaces or car spaces or anything like that. So these are fun and exciting and can involve the community in a lot of ways. There have been examples of putting students' art on poles or creating some kind of almost like a scavenger hunt for some of the sculptures. So there's all kinds of ways to make this really engaging for the community. The next one is connecting through kinship. So this is looking a little bit more at those within Riviera Beach connections and looking at how do we meet our neighbors and create those spaces for gathering. The first is looking at the MLK Junior Service Road and Australian. There is a city-owned parcel there that could be developed into more of a park with some functional artwork, looking at benches or flower pots or things like that, as well as space for murals on the surface there, whether it's a permanent mural of some kind or some just permanent mural space for local artists to display things or things like that. This is a great example of a potential community space. Wrong button. Similarly, I know that there is some development coming in around the Blue Heron Bridge. We actually just finished a process for public art in just north of you guys in Ormond Beach that is really focused on lighting under the bridge, and think it's a really great way to bring some color, especially in the evening, and activate some spaces in that way as well. The last thing is looking at connecting with nature. So this is taking advantage of some of the assets that you guys have and really improving that pedestrian infrastructure at the same time. So some of that is looking at access alcoves. There are a few boat access alcoves. They're right here just south of the bridge that we're looking at, some stamped gateways or fencing and things of that nature to bring some dynamic surfaces into some of the neighborhoods and more recognizable access to the community. Similarly, we're looking at some sidewalk activations, both in Singer Island and along Congress, to encourage folks to go out and explore. And these are things like a chalk festival or water activated arts like the one on the left here that are, again, some kind of low cost, high impact examples of how to bring public art into pedestrian areas. Finally, here we're thinking about some of the plan phasing and how this comes into effect. So the first thing we're suggesting is adopting the recommended policy and ordinance updates. And those are things that we have been working on throughout this process, working closely with Sunid and the team to make some updates to the public art ordinances and really make sure you guys have a sustainable program. The next thing would be looking at expanding public art funding and updating the public art code to implement these recommendations. So again, the public art code is also something that we've been working on, and all of this will be available as the appendix to the plan document. And the new code will bring that sustainability into the program and really bring these recommendations to life and into the community. Then we're suggesting we create a public art administrator position if the program takes off like we of course all want it to. It will be a lot of work to maintain it properly and respectfully. So we want to make sure that that is an option and that is something that you all can take care of. And finally, looking at engaging in relationship building with public and private entities to make sure, again, ensure that sustainability and make it a community effort to bring public art into Riviera Beach. So that's what we've been doing. That's where we're at. I would love to know if you guys have any immediate comments or reactions or questions about what we've been doing.
You guys did a great job.
Got any questions from the board? Mr. Brown? Do you have any comments?
I think it looks good to me. I have a few typographical errors that I saw in it, so I pass it on to staff as usual.
Thank you. All right. Well, if there are no questions, we do say thank you for allowing us to present this, and thank you for thinking about it and giving us your feedback, which means that we're doing okay. So thank you all. I do, yes, please.
I love the murals. And a couple weeks ago, I was driving through the one on the corner of Broadway and Blue Heron,
Mhm.
and the city slapped the Ford Development site right smack in the middle. So just hopefully we can keep that mural. If not, if there's a new building going up, hopefully they can adapt another mural for that property. As you all know, that's a major traffic area.
I think that one, I know they're thinking of updating it, retouching it, and then.
Yeah, but it doesn't do us any good if they tear their buildings down and when they
I don't know
redevelop.
if they're tearing it down.
So it would be nice in that little corner, hint, hint, it would be nice in that little corner to have like a little artistic park area where we can have different artistic murals, other art forms, and a little park where you can have a little bench and you can walk through it instead of like another building. We don't need another Starbucks there or,
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
I'd rather have a nice open space. And if we do have to tear that building apart because we have, somebody comes in, maybe they can put a little mirror on the side of whatever building they're gonna make,
Mhm.
because that one's gonna go. Just my own humble opinion.
I like your humble opinion.
Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Sunita, is there money already set aside for public art at this time?
So the way it works, yes, Jen. The way it works is that whenever you come in to do, so a developer shows up and the developer says, I will be doing something that has a value greater than $50,000, 1% of those developer dollars go into arts and public places. We also have another aspect of receiving funds for our fee is through our BTRs, and we get a small percentage through our BTRs dollars, which is our licensing system that we are able to use. And Ms. Grace Joyce is here. That also goes into our arts fund. So we are able to do it in those two streams, whether it becomes through development dollars as well as our licensing dollars.
Thank you.
Mhm. Great question.
Thank you, Sonia. Great job.
Well, we say thank you very much. Thank you to my team that is always behind getting everything done, and they're so humble about it. No one says anything, but really the rock stars are this board, these folks that are out here, and my staff that makes me look good. I just stand here. So we say thank you to you all, and thank you all for the work that you all do. So that is us. That is the rest. That's the end of Arts and Public Places for tonight. Thank
Meeting
you.
you said was the third Tuesday of every month, where?
Third Tuesday. Oh, that's a great question. Third Tuesday of every month in City Hall, upstairs at the Development Services office or conference room. So upstairs, City Hall, our conference room. Join us, and we'd love to
With
see
no
you.
art in it? Is that the one I saw on the picture?
We put a piece of paper that has some kind of graphic on it, makes us feel good about ourselves.
I was just.
We'll bring color sheets.
We're work in progress. Excellent. Thank
No,
you.
but great
everyone.
job.
Great job, guys.
Great job. I'm
Thank
really
you,
looking
everyone.
forward to seeing this come to light.
Absolutely.
We're excited. There's literally like, what are we doing now? And it's like, we're almost have a plan. We're getting there. So we are getting to the end. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Great presentation, guys. Ms. Weather, do we have any workshop items?
No, sir, not at this time, sir.
Any public comments or any comments on the, what we just,
No, sir.
general discussion, staff updates?
None from staff, Mr. Chair.
Correspondence, Ms. Weathers?
No, sir.
I believe, according to this, the next planning and zoning board meeting will be on July 10th.
That is correct.
Well, if there's nothing else, it's 7:04 PM. Do I have a vote to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Adjourn, yes.
We all agree. Thank you, guys. It is now 7:04 PM.